Welcome to the Stygian Stilettos Gamer channel. This is Stygian Sis. Please like, share, and subscribe, and find me at twitter.com/StygianSis.
Oh boy, where do I begin? So, I watched Square Enix's Tokyo Game Show in 2019 because I was looking for some Kingdom Hearts news on whatever was coming up next, even though Kingdom Hearts 3 just released. Then they played the remake trailer of The Wall Market, and I saw Aerith for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I gotta play this game." I gotta play this game to find out more about this character. So I bought the remake, and I fell in love with Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy VII as a whole. And Aerith was my favorite character throughout the entire game. I love her snarky personality, but she's also really sweet, so she has a great balance. She's also has a really amazing backstory with Crisis Core and before Crisis.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, Before
Sorry.
Crisis. You're true. Yeah, I forgot about Before Crisis. That's true.
And here's the thing: I had no clue she was gonna die in the OG. So I played the OG a couple months after I finished remake. You cannot imagine
Oh
how
wow.
you cannot imagine.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I feel so bad for people who start out with Crisis Core or something like that, and then they or remake, and then they find out what happens. I was like, man,
Yeah, I was like, God damn it!
Square Enix is diabolical. They really
Everything
are.
it's ridiculous.
Yes, yes. Cool. So, you know what? I wanted to talk about her childhood. You said you knew something about the childhood. I'm not as familiar with Crisis Core. I was OG, then like I said, having children remake, and I've watched Crisis Core, but still, there's so much there that yeah, I'm just curious of what you've learned out of through Traces of Two Past or remake. Just what you think about
It
her
traces
formative years. Yeah.
yet to be translated into English,
Yeah,
which
we do have the Pico translations, but I wasn't sure if you had read those yet or well, no, actually, I'm
no,
not sure she
no.
got to those yet. Yeah, okay. So what do you know about her childhood? I know that she was born to Professor Gast and a
Yeah,
fauna,
although
and
I think playing
mm,
the OG, seeing their relationship grow, Gast and Elvania, and how much of a great father Gast would have been to Aerith. Like, just so cute. And then Hojo came in and ruined everything like he always does.
ugh,
And Aerith spent the first 7 years of her life locked in a cell with her mom. It's really tragic. Like, it's just sad. And then when she finally escapes, her mom dies at the train station, and Elmira takes her in as her daughter, which was such a great thing of her to do, even though she had no idea who this kid was. Like, because I
mm-hmm.
kind of empathize with her, even though I've never had to deal with adoption myself. My parents never adopted anyone. I understand what those kids go through. So I related to it on a bit of a personal level.
Yeah, she had a tough life those first, 6 or 7 years, like you said, and then having your mom die in front of you. I'm glad that Elmira came along and was able to give her, really the life she deserved. Kids should have a safe, welcoming home to go, to grow up in. And even though she still had
Absolutely,
to deal
she
with,
did her best. She
mm,
definitely did her best to do it, to give her that.
exactly,
Even
and
though the Turks were always after her. Well, not after
mm-hmm,
her, but they were keeping a close eye on her.
yeah. But she gave her as stable of a life as she could. And to speak on Afana, she tried to do the same thing. There's this really beautiful art of her and Afana, like I think she's doing her hair or something like that while they're locked in that room.
Yeah, I saw that. It's in the remake Ultimania. That was probably one
Yeah.
of my favorites of that entire book that I got.
Yeah, it's a great little moment because it shows that even though she understood how bad of a situation they were in, she tried to give Aerith some sort of comfortable, childhood life too, and have a little fun with her and stuff like that. So I really like that too.
Absolutely.
So it's good in a way. She got to experience two good moms, and it appears she thrived. She had her issues, as we'll get into when it comes to
the crisis core, or as I call it, crying core. Because that's what you do the entire game.
Yeah, really. It is a brutal game from beginning to end. The only pockets of happiness, really, that you see are, like I said, Aerith and Zack and Cloud, getting to see their relationship. You get to see some of the fun side of Sephiroth, a little bit of Angel.
The soldier boys. So, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Aerith.
Yeah, exactly. But she's definitely one of the bright spots of the game for sure.
I guess we'll save that for the next Zack week.
So with her childhood, so it's actually interesting. She seems. I wonder how you feel about how her childhood informs her character now. I see her as, even though she's outgoing now, there is still a little bit of sort of an outcast nature almost to her character.
Oh, no, she definitely was. She was definitely an outcast. You see that.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely see that in the graveyard scene in Remake. As much as I hate how much padding that was, that was a great moment because it shows how isolated she was from other kids.
Yes, and it also shows her awkwardness now. I mean, she's, Tifa's terrified. Cloud is acting cool, but he's not exactly excited either. But Aerith is like, yeah, let's go. Ghosts, okay, cool. but ghosts have always been the dead have always been a part of her life, so it's just not her behavior may seem strange to other people, but it's not strange to her. It's just her existence. You know what I mean? It's just
what's always been. The voices of the planet talking to her, which I hope that they go into more in the next part of Remake.
For sure. For sure, yeah, because this has got to be a weird existence. You're hearing things and seeing things that other people aren't. And if you tell people, they're going to think you're crazy, or they're going to be scared of you if they believe you, Yeah, so I try to think about what living in that, even though you're seeing more than anyone else about the world, it also would be very isolating. If you're standing there talking to somebody and there's in whatever way it manifests for Aerith, there's a spirit there talking to you too or something. You know what I mean? Very Sixth Sense.
Yeah. And I kind of relate to her as well. I grew up kind of alone, not a lot of friends because I didn't really know how to interact with people. I'm not going to go into me at all much, but I just think I relate to Aerith on that level, which is another reason why her character hits for me a lot more than others.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. There is a loneliness to her. I think people just see the preppy side of her, or the peppy side of her, I should say, and think that that's all there is to her. But
there's so much more.
Yeah, she shows not a lot of moments, but she definitely shows some moments of showing her true self. That's one thing about this game. A lot of these characters are putting on a facade in one way or the other, and Aerith is as well to some degree. I personally think it's due to, trying to normalize life for Elmira to some degree as well. If you're a kid that's seeing ghosts and things like that, or whatever, however you want to put it, I think that would be worrisome for a mother. And then you got the thing going on with the Turks, and then you have the element of Zack and that heartbreak. And so I think part of that is her just trying to spare Elmira's feelings, as well as trying to convince herself to not let life get her down too,
Yeah, I get it. I definitely get it. Pretty much all I know about the childhood, though. So
yeah,
I say we move on to Crisis Core.
Okay, cool. What do you know about Crisis Core? So what do you think about Aerith and Crisis Core? I know there's a lot of controversy, unfortunately, around the Crisis Core Aerith. I believe.
You don't know how many times I've had to defend her on Twitter. It's tiring after a while being her knight in shining armor. We're trying to do what's right.
Yeah. I would be surprised if she didn't have any character growth between the ages of 15 and 22.
Oh, absolutely.
That seems like...
You mature a lot in a short period of time like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, first-hand experience.
Yeah, her first... What did you think about her first interaction with Zack?
I mean, aside from being cute as hell, it was definitely a bit awkward. She definitely had a bit of social awkwardness to her, and honestly, that kind of made the scene a lot more cute for me. And
yeah, because it's like she goes back and forth. You know, he's calling her an angel, and she's calling him silly and stuff. And then he asks her the one date thing. Hey, why don't we go on the one date? And
they go to the playground for that one date.
But she actually almost rejects him, and then she turns around and says, like, no, I actually want to spend time with you. You know what I mean? And then she decides to go out with him. But it's like she's not used to that attention. She's not used to a guy being so forward with her. So she's flattered, but she's also a little bit awkward, like we said. So there's a lot of nervousness there. It's a really cute scene. Yeah. And then
she's an awkward character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can go ahead. Did you want to say something else?
Now let's move on to whatever was next.
Oh, cool.
Crisis Core.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because even though, I don't know if they said that she actually could fight at the time, but she does say like, hey, let's run away when they first get into a battle. And of course, Zack goes into full hero mode. Oh, I'll protect you. All that.
Yeah.
It's really cute. But honestly, I don't know when she actually starts being able to utilize her abilities.
It's not like she learned magic overnight.
Yeah, exactly. So she might have learned after the fact, but if she already knew how to fight and she was pretending not to know, that just adds to what we already know, which is, you don't just go around telling people that you're the last Cetra and showing off all these magical abilities.
He can summon Zeta Flare.
But I like that he even though they just met, he's immediately being very charming with her and kind of getting her out of her shell a bit. He sees that she really wants to go shopping for that ribbon, buys it for her, tells, hey, wear it for me, all that. He's very encouraging with Aerith, which I like.
Yeah, that's why I love the dynamic so much between Zack and Aerith. I mean, you see it. You see it in my drawings. It's like, it just feels natural. Mm-hmm. It just feels like a natural relationship.
They just click instantly.
Probably some of the best. I think it's a bit crazy to say that Crisis Core has the best love story ever written. That belongs to Final Fantasy X. Sorry, not sorry, but it's really good, especially for a video game.
Yeah, I agree. And then the park scene is kind of bittersweet because, like, she's saying these things about Soldier, almost kind of judging them. But I like that she and Zack sort of had that dynamic because people, obviously would judge her based on what she is. And then she sort of sees the error of her ways when they have that exchange. She's looking into his eyes and he's like, see, it's not scary at all, Xerath Crisis Core is just, I really hope we get some flashbacks.
Please need those scenes in 4K, HD, yes. The amazing graphics, and I'll probably weep like a little baby again. Just like I did when I watched the scenes on I did not play Crisis Core because I'm not paying $1,000 for a PSP and the game itself.
No.
That's what's going for.
It's going for $1,000?
Well, I watched the cutscenes, and it was like watching a tragedy. It's just so sad. Like,
yeah, especially I love the scene where Aerith is comforting Zack when he's crying over Angeal. Man,
yeah,
it's just so
I
good.
use on Twitter. Whenever one of my friends is feeling down, that's my go-to. But, but because that's what Aerith would do, so that's what I'm gonna do as well.
Yeah, I agree. And then of course I love all the flower cart stuff because like he makes one for her and she's like, not good enough. And he's like, stop being so picky. But he likes her, so he makes her another one anyway.
The ribbon, all the gifts he gave. They should have opened up a flower business. They really should have. Zack should have left Soldier and just opened a flower shop with Aerith. Then they'd live happily ever after.
That would be really sweet. But yeah, I'm it's just I love that he embraced her dream. You know what I mean? I think he even said a line I saw yesterday saying that it was their dream to open up a flower cart or whatever to sell flowers. So very, very sweet exchanges between them. And when you see her in Remake or in OG, then you better understand like the sadness you see behind her eyes a lot of times. And better understand her dynamic with Zack. I'm sorry, not with Cloud as well.
Yeah.
Because it would be very hard to be reminded of somebody that you loved that much that never came back.
Like that's why she didn't have feelings for Cloud. That's not what was going on, but she felt something in there. Like a part of Zack was still in him, but it's not him.
Yeah,
Zack is gone,
and that's a tragedy.
Before the Time Ghost came in and wrecked the entire your continuum.
Oh man, yeah, it's very sad to see how much she misses him, and with Crisis Core, like you know, because OG you had very little scenes with Zack, but now going through Crisis Core, SE makes you fall in love with him. So then you as you know, you can understand the grief Aerith is going through. And
yeah, Zack's my second favorite Final Fantasy character. Aerith's my first. Can you guess why? Yeah, Crisis Core. 100%.
It's a great game. I really love that they decided to lean into
so I can actually play it.
And I'm glad that they made Crisis Core so that we could see a lot more of Aerith as well. Because really OG
scenes in Ever Crisis.
Yeah, I can't wait for Ever Crisis as well. Because OG to me
from a mobile phone game.
Yeah, OG to me did not do Aerith as well of a service because they did not go as much into her Cetra stuff, which I think is they're going to remedy this time. That is an interesting side of her. I mean, she's the last Cetra. That's very important. They mostly just kind of made her a plot device for the LTD. You know what I mean? And it's there's now that we have the compilation, we can see a lot more facets of her character. There's a lot more layers to her character, which we definitely get to see on display in Remake. Because she will have these moments where she's being, you know, the peppy Aerith that we know, and then we'll have these other moments like in the park scene where you see this heartbroken girl, you know, and then you see her being the doting daughter to Elmira, and then you see her being the good girlfriend to Tifa. I mean, you get to see all these layers to a character. I'm very excited.
Yeah. And then a lot of people give her credit for it. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, she's just a magic pixie girl. Just shut up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that's the impression OG could give you, depending on how you played it. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I played OG after remake, and I was like, even I was like, okay, Aerith, this isn't you. This well is you, but they made you a lot better.
yeah, it's now that we have the compilation. When I go back and play OG, I have the compilation informing me about her character. So there's a lot more tolerance for it there in that sense. But just playing OG, yeah,
Yeah, well, my friends were like, "Oh, I didn't really like Aerith that much in the OG." And I'm like,
yeah, I know a whole lot of people that didn't, including me. Which again is why I'm glad we got this compilation. Crisis Core
yeah,
and remake
we got the
are
remake.
doing wonders for her character. It really is. Made me a fan of her.
Yeah, shout out to her VAs for really bringing that character to life, both English and Japanese. They
Yes, I mean Maya's
really
a
did.
legend. You know, love Maya Sakamoto, and I like Brianna White as her a lot as well.
Yeah, I like them both.
I agree.
Anything else?
No, no. So, any closing thoughts?
Mm, I just came on to talk about my favorite character, and I think that I got my point across about why I think why I think that Aerith is an amazing character, and
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't say
completely
she's the
agree.
best character in all of Final Fantasy. That's up for debate, but she definitely is up there with some of the best,
Mm-hmm.
and
Ah,
definitely one of the best party members in JRPGs as a whole. There's a reason she's iconic, and I hope that she gets. I know Smash Bros is over for now, but I hope she gets in the next game. I really do.
oh,
If
that would be
Sebas can get in,
interesting.
he can.
She's not a Dissidia either, is she? Maybe they'll put her in Dissidia.
She's not in there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, if they ever do an Artisidia, that is.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well,
Square Enix, please.
all right, cool. Well,
Alright,
it was
that's
nice just
it.
doing a little birthday, tribute to her.
Yeah,
And yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me as a guest. Really honored.
This is Stygian Stilettos Gamer, and I am hashtag out of here, honey.